Our board members are Robert and Norma White, Summer Bushnell, and Roger Garlock. Roger will be asking questions of the candidates assembled this evening. After we do a brief introduction, the candidates will have 2 minutes, each of them, to introduce themselves, and then we'll proceed to questions. For those of you who are here who would like to submit questions for those candidates, you can visit the table in the back and jot down a brief question and provide it to us, and we'll try to integrate it, if possible, into the discussion. So just a word about Northwest Property Owners Alliance. We are a group of 2,500 or more members in Kootenai, Bonner, and surrounding counties, and we work for the sake of protecting individual property rights. So we support issues that attend to property rights, and we've had a number of very salient victories of late. Last year about this time was the victory over the Avista merger with Hydro One. We provided the litigation. Norm Semenko of Boise served as our attorney representing the Avista property owners property group, and we won that case by convincing the Idaho PUC, the Public Utilities Commission, that the merger would not comport with Idaho statutes. As a result of that, the PUC torpedoed that merger, as you are aware, and we were as a result, we do not have a foreign entity providing us with our energy, our electric and gas utilities. Woohoo! Thank you. The other victory that we had just a couple years back was with water rights, attending to Kootenai County and the tribe, and another big victory thanks to the services of our lawyer, Norm Semenko. So we appreciate the support of those who are familiar with us. We'd like to encourage those who are not to investigate our webpage, and please ask any of us if you have questions that like to get further information. We're all about an informed public so that everyone can make the best decisions possible regarding affairs at the state level, county level, and in this case, city level. So with that, I will turn over the microphone here, and we can just proceed across the board. 2 minutes for introduction. We will be allowing 2 minutes for responses to questions, and I will give you a 30-second notice during the time of your response that is what's left, and then let you know as time approaches that 2-minute element. Okay? So hopefully they'll do it. Any questions from the candidates just at the moment?
No closing.
I'm sorry?
There's no closing statement.
And there will be no closing statements. All right, very good. Mr. Roetter.
Well, thank you everyone for coming tonight. I appreciate you have enough interest in your government and your candidates to show up, because there's a lot of people that don't. I've served my first term in the Hayden City Council. Many of you may know me as Karen Roetter's husband. She's the district representative for U.S. Senator Meckel and has been for 20 years. I've lived in Hayden for 38 years, same house. I've been married to my wife 41 years. We met at the University of Idaho. We raised 3 daughters, and I have 6 grandkids that 3 of them live in Hayden, and they're 6th-generation Idahoans. So I have deep roots in Idaho and in Hayden. I want to tell you a little bit about my background. I started a small business back in 1989 in my garage. It grew to 10 employees, so I know what it takes to start a business and grow it. I was a member of the American Institute of Architects Professional Affiliate. I provided opinions in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting to provide my opinions to make schools safer because of the types of glass it could use to prevent perpetrators. I'm a 7-year member of the Idaho Board of Medicine Medical Malpractice Pre-Litigation Board. It's a grand jury that has cut down on medical malpractice cases by 70%, reducing our insurance premiums. I was nominated twice for the Max Galton Award by the Idaho Newspapers Association for using public records and keeping our government open and transparent. I have 3 goals. I don't want the Idaho Department of Corrections prison in Hayden. I want to lower property taxes, and I I don't want our citizens to bear the cost of growth. I don't want our current citizens to pay more or higher taxes so more people can move here. Thank you.
Excuse me, just one moment. Folks, we've had a request, and if we could honor it, we'd just like to say the Pledge of Allegiance before.
Oh.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off by thanking you all for being here. Thank you, Roger, and thank you, the North Idaho Property Owners Alliance, for putting this together. I want you guys to know that I understand and appreciate what your organization stands for and the efforts you put forth advocating for all of our property rights. One thing that motivated me to run for city council in Hayden were some experiences that I myself had when I approached them regarding some questions about my own home business. I began attending meetings and learning more about the city, its history, its plans, and several challenges that it's faced over the last few decades that it just cannot seem to overcome. I started my business at the age of 23, and I'm proud to have celebrated my 10-year anniversary this past spring. I say this not to boast, but to call attention to some important facts, highlighting my skills and qualifications for this position. I do not give up when the going gets tough, and I do not shudder at the sight of opposition or competition. That being said, I also understand how to build and maintain lasting professional networks and relationships which the city of Hayden so desperately needs. Over the next few weeks, you will hear candidates claim things such as, he has a plan, or she wants to raise taxes. And statements like that only serve to mislead our voters and undermine their rights and the power that they have within their own community. City officials and employees have a duty and responsibility to adequately lead and inform those who reside here. It is not up to any one of those individuals to ever simply say no and show us the door. I have the experience and the energy to put in the footwork that builds relationships instead of burning bridges. We cannot afford to spare any amount of our humble budget on frivolous discrepancies that could have and should have been avoided. Moving forward, if elected, I will work diligently to serve the people of this community, making sure they understand their rights, choices, and exactly how their money is being spent. Thank you.
My name is Micheal. I'm running for City Council in Rathdrum. I'm an Army veteran, father of 4. I met my wife in high school. We were 16, high school sweethearts. We've been married for nearly 20 years. I'm an Idaho native, born and raised in northern Idaho. The only time that I've spent away from Idaho is my service in the military. I'm running for City Council. This will be my second time attempting to run for City Council because I believe in community service and doing everything that you can for your community. I'm concerned, as many of our citizens are, about the rapid growth of our community, how quickly it is expanding. I'm concerned about the property taxes that have increased year over year. Rathdrum is the second highest property tax rate in Kootenai County. Idaho State is the fastest growing state in the nation, Kootenai County being the fastest growing county in Idaho, and Rathdrum being the fastest growing community in Kootenai County. So that's something that's troubling. Spirit Lake holds the highest tax rate in Kootenai County. They currently cannot issue any new home building permits because of the water and sewer capacity issues. I don't believe that Rathdrum has reached that point yet, but I do have concerns for other infrastructure, such as our school district. Our school district recently attempted to pass a bond for, I think it was $73.9 million. It's a big price tag for a new high school renovation to some existing structures. Our school district is feeling the pain of the expansion of our community. Our taxpayers are feeling the burden of the tax liabilities against them, against their properties, and so they're hesitant to provide the support that we would normally have for things such as a school levy to build us a new high school, because we have other things that are competing for our dollars. I hope to have your votes on election day, and I have a website if you'd like to learn more, Micheal.com. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Fred Meckel. I've been married for 27 years. I've been on the council for 12. My family moved here after my mom and dad retired in 1989. I also I'm an Army veteran. Actually, I have 3.5 years left to retire from the military. I'm in the National Guard. I've had 5 years active duty and the rest National Guard duty, so I'm pretty proud of that. My 2 daughters, I've got one that's going to University of Idaho right now. The other one's going to college in Seattle. They're 21 and 23 years old. I own almost 2. We're in the middle of getting a second location, but I own Allstate Insurance Agency in Post Falls, and hopefully here in Coeur d'Alene here pretty soon. I have my bachelor's degree in psychology from American Military University, my master's in social work from Boise State. I was a mental health counselor for 10 years and a therapist at Sacred Heart Medical Center and ACES here in Post Falls. Got burnt out on that. I was working with some of the worst kind of populations, and one day decided that it was time to move on. I was working with sex offenders, victims of sex offenders. So I love my city. I love working in the community. I enjoy helping our city grow, smart growth. I feel we've done a great job in the last 12 years, and I look forward to continuing that if I get your vote. So thank you very much, and here's Debbie.
Thank you for coming today. I have served on the Rathdrum City Council since 2008, and I've grown with the city. I've learned a lot. I grew up in Westchester County, New York, and a small town on the Hudson River, 35 miles north of New York City, but in the country. So I love the city and the country. And we moved here to have a better way of life, and we were very lucky, my husband Alan and I, that we both have jobs that support us. But I want to have more jobs that support our children and our grandchildren so they can stay here. I know growth is an issue that's bugging many people, and we are fast growing, but we're trying to manage it responsibly. And I do have to tell you that on the tax issue, you may have questions later, but we took 0% increase this year, 0% in 2016 and 2017. We have never taken 2%, let alone the 3% we're allowed to take. We try to be fiscally responsible. This year, we're using money from building to take care of the projects in our budget. We haven't had to raise taxes. I know the schools are an issue for some of us, but what are we supposed to do? Tell our kids you can't build a house here and live down the street from me? I want us to be able to have people come here, but I do want to manage the growth. I don't want urban sprawl. We have businesses coming now. We have an urban renewal plan that's going to bring jobs. We've had 3 major companies looking at us for the past 3 years. I can't say who they are, but they're big employers, and they're looking at Rathdrum. So I just want to keep doing my job and managing responsibly, and I don't want to see it grow like crazy, but people want to come here, so I want to give them an opportunity to have the better life I have. Thank you.
Good evening, thank you for coming. Beautiful day in North Idaho. When is it not a beautiful day? That's why we all live here. And I don't want to see it becoming another California. Growth is going to happen, but there's certain ways of doing it. We should do infill building before we annex county property and destroy agricultural land and turn it into cities. Infill first, and then we'll spread out a little bit. Why am I running for city council in Rathdrum? I want to give the voters of our city a choice. If you're happy with the way our city has been going, then I urge you to re-elect the current incumbents. If you think it's time for a change, I'm at your service, and we'll do that. My qualifications, I have an associate, a bachelor's, and a master's degree. What's most applicable for this city council job is The master's degree was in geography, and many of the units I took was in urban studies. So I understand how cities are supposed to work, how they control the economic order of land, and how we need to maintain it, because once you convert land to a higher order, it will never revert to a lower order. My Idaho roots go back to 1897. That's only as far as I could prove. I have to admit that I was not born in the state. Am I going to turn into California? No, I think the people here are doing a pretty good job as it is without my help. That's all I have to say because my time's up. Thank you.
Let's reroute that. Please introduce yourselves by name for the sake of the video as well, if you would.
Hi, I'm Elaine Price. I'm running for Coeur d'Alene City Council, Seat 1. I have been living in Coeur d'Alene since 1990. I live in the same house that I bought when I first moved here, raised my 2 kids in that house. I have seen the changes in Coeur d'Alene, and the reason why I'm running for City Council is I feel like the regular people in Coeur d'Alene don't have a voice on our City Council. I have learned a lot since I started running for City Council, and I've been asking for people's input. And I think that that's a valuable tool that our City Council can use to help make decisions that impact the citizens that have lived in Coeur d'Alene and have brought Coeur d'Alene to the place it is today. Yes, growth is an issue. I am concerned about growth. I feel that we need to have smart growth, which is making sure that the infrastructure is in place before we continue to add the housing that we've been adding, making sure that our streets can handle the traffic, making sure that our water system is in place. And I think that that's been kind of put on the back burner. So I would really like to have a focus on our comprehensive plan on our infrastructure, as well as laying out where we want the growth to be in our city, making it clear to the developers where that growth should go and what we, the citizens of Coeur d'Alene, want that growth to look like. So I'm asking for the citizens of Coeur d'Alene to provide their input and asking for your vote on November 5th.
Thank you. I'm Dan Gookin, City Councilman for Coeur d'Alene. I have a website, dangookin.com, and you can read my bio there. And I am a fiscal hawk, never voted for a property tax increase. I don't plan on ever voting because there's always money to cut, and I always look for spending cuts. My big issue is to preserve the character and charm of Coeur d'Alene and protect our older established neighborhoods, and that's my record on council. I also posted a video to my website, dangookin.com, yesterday, which you can actually see Coeur d'Alene City Council in action cutting regulations. These were restrictions that would have been placed on private property owners that we repealed. And I'm pretty proud of that. I think the council did a good thing there, and you can watch that video at dangookin.com. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Micheal Pereira, and I'm running for Coeur d'Alene City Council Seat 3. Thanks to the NWPOA for putting this on, all the candidates up here, and voters for being here tonight. I'm excited and humbled to be running for this position. This is not an easy thing to do, but it's a very respectful thing for everybody to stick their hats up there and their name out there and give it a shot. So, I'm a longtime Coeur d'Alene resident, a family man, a businessman, and a community-minded individual. I graduated from Lake City High School, NIC, and the University of Idaho. I've been married to my beautiful wife for 10 years, and this is where we've chosen to live and raise our 4 children. We're all throughout the school district. I have a vast professional background as a former and current business owner in the fields of construction, consulting, and engineering. I'm well versed in human resources, employees' budgets, and what it takes to run a successful business and lead. I'm an analytical thinker who will look at all sides of the equation and issues in order to make best informed decisions for the future of Coeur d'Alene. I believe my collaborative mindset, passion for the people of Coeur d'Alene, and forward-thinking solutions will provide a refreshing change to the city. We're at a critical time in our community with growth and changes. Strategic decisions and plans need to be made that will affect our community well into the future. My background and experience and strong relationships that I've created over the years will allow me to make the right decisions for the long-term viability of our community. I don't stand, I'm not sitting anymore, I don't stand before you pretending to have all the answers facing Coeur d'Alene, but I know together we can solve them. We have an opportunity to shape our community into a thriving, prosperous place for all of us, our kids and future generations. But we need to think outside the box, have a forward-thinking vision, come up with new innovative ideas, and not just the same old ways of trying to fix things. I will be a bridge builder between the council and the community. I will represent all of Coeur d'Alene, listen to all sides, and strive to make best informed decisions for our future. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. How are you guys doing? No, good morning. So, like most of you, I worked all day long, and then I came here, right? And the fact that we've taken the time to be here and to want to get involved, I think, is commendable for all of us. And the fact that we're all sitting up here, we all come from such different walks of life, and all we want is to better serve the Northwest, right? So what it comes down to is connecting with who you want to connect with, and who is it that you want to see representing your belief system on the council. My name is Lacey Moen. I've lived here for 26 years. I have a daughter who's 10, she goes to Sorensen. I graduated from Lake City High School, and I've owned a brick and mortar business downtown Coeur d'Alene for 8 years. I've seen about 12,000 clients in my chair alone, and I see about 300 clients a month, all people that live in this area. They tell me their hopes, their dreams, their things that make them unhappy about this area. And it's been really interesting to get real feedback from real people in real time. And I think that those are the stories and those are the people that I'd like to be able to convey to council when I get to be on that, when I get to sit with everybody, when we get to have conversations. I think there's a lot of things that are missing. I think when you watch city council meetings, there's not a lot of conversation that's happening. We don't understand what was happening behind closed doors, right? We want to find out why decisions were made, and we want to understand them. I think there's a disconnect, and I want to be able to reconnect Coeur d'Alene with the people who live here, who want to be involved, even though that they don't know how. I think there's a lot of beautiful ways that we can do that through technology, and I'm excited to be able to share my ideas in this next coming weeks. So, a little bit more than 2.5 weeks to go, you guys. We got this. Okay, thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Dan English. I'm running for my second term on the Coeur d'Alene City Council. I was born and raised here, lived a few other places, but have spent most of my time in Coeur d'Alene, either living or working. I've worked primarily in the nonprofit community, but also have been involved in public service through, I was your county clerk for about 15 years, was on a partial term on the council before I got appointed to clerk, and then also on school board for about 5 years. I've also been a small business owner of an internet-based business for about 20 years. If you've ever voted in Kootenai County since about 2001, on a little voting booth, it's called Total Vote, and that's something I do. So I'm, involved from the ground up. We raised 4 kids here, have multiple grandkids and a great-grandchild. I recently retired as the director of the Area Agency on Aging. So, and way back when I started the Anchor House of Boys Home. So, I've kind of seen the impact and dealt with people kind of issues from kids and families and with seniors. And we are one of the fastest growing areas around, and one of the fastest growing demographics in that group is actually the seniors. And that's going to present some challenging things for public safety and different things. And I get stuck at traffic lights just like you. I'm concerned that it's great that my property value is going up, but since the legislature capped that tax exemption, that's not a great thing. So anyway, I enjoy serving and I look forward to the rest of the questions. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Tom Morgan. I'm a lifetime resident, born here in North Idaho. I met my wife almost 29 years ago, about 200 yards on the other side of those double doors right over there. We got married at the hitching post. Coeur d'Alene is in my blood. I've been a heating and air conditioning repairman for 31 years here in North Idaho. I did work in the Seattle area for a couple of years. I was in Seattle in 2001, 9/11. 6 weeks later, I came back home. I didn't. I quit my job, and I didn't know what was going on in the world. I thought it was a pretty troubling time, and I knew that here was the safest place for me to be with my family. So I got back here where my family is. I started a nonprofit organization several years ago. When you're an air conditioner repairman, you run around in everybody's backyard, so you see all their old bumpy bikes leaning up against the trees and the bushes. And so I started gathering those bicycles up and repairing them and fixing them up, and we give them away to kids in Kootenai County that can't afford to have a bicycle. So I've given about 750 bikes away in the last few years, and hundreds of helmets and lights and reflectors, all the stuff that goes on bicycles. I'm at a point in my life where my kids are grown. Oldest is 27, she works at Kootenai Health. My son is 22, my youngest is 17, and I don't really have to be there every day for them anymore. So I finally have time in my life to go out and do things. And what I like to do is serve the public. So I hope you'll consider me for your vote for November 5th. Thanks.